Hello, welcome back for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. Thank you very much for joining us. We're back. This episode is a day late, so I apologize for that. It's my fault. We're just too busy with life these days, so didn't have time to work on this show. This is our star of the show, Fluffy Kitty.
Yep.
There she is. She actually woke up.
It's a hot day today here for once, and she's a bit overheated.
This is my co-host, Christine. I'm Gregory Barrett. Breaking down today's episode. I'll have the time codes in the description down below. We're going to do a whole bunch of trailers. We're going to review Heart of Stone, which is a Netflix trailer. All the Light We Cannot See, another Netflix property. And there was a Rebel Moon behind the scenes featurette, also from Netflix. Then we're going to review the new Kraven the Hunter. There was a Red Band trailer released by Sony this week. Going into our reviews, I'm going to talk about Asteroid City a little bit. I know I shouldn't spoil it, but I really want to, based on my reaction to this.
I haven't got to see it yet.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spoil it for your sake. Then we're going to review Elemental, Extraction 2 from Netflix, No Hard Feelings, which came out last weekend from Sony. We're going to talk about Clone High, the new season a little bit. Star Trek Lower Decks. Christine loves to talk about that. I got Star Wars books, Star Wars Aftermath I'm going to be going through. We'll talk briefly about some of the Netflix comedy specials. Wanda, Sykes.
I watched that one now.
Chris Rock and Amy Schumer. And then if we have time, we're going to go back into the DCEU, where we did our review of Wonder Woman 1984. And then if we have time, for some more Chakotay's Odyssey at the end.
There's always time for Chakotay's Odyssey.
I think you enjoy it.
As long as I don't have to watch it, I'm fine.
Yeah, as long as I'm just telling you what wacky stuff they're up to. Hello there, welcome back. We got a whole bunch of new trailers that we're going to be reviewing. So we got 3 trailers and they're all from Netflix. So we'll do them in the order that they're releasing. First one is Heart of Stone, comes out August 11th. This stars Gal Gadot, one of your favorite actresses. So, are you excited for this? What did you think of this trailer?
I don't think they're focusing on her face most of the trailer, and she hardly says anything.
Yep.
Because she's not a good actress.
She speaks 4 times, and
some of them are not even looking at her face, and they're quick, and she doesn't say anything intelligent, really. She doesn't say anything wise or anything. I don't know. It looks kind of lame. I don't know.
So as I'm watching this, I got the feel that this is pretty much Jane Bond.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Which I would love to see a Jane Bond instead of James Bond. Just maybe I wouldn't cast Gal Gadot because, she's not the greatest actress.
Politically as well, her accent will give her away as to where she's from.
So I noticed that as well. Everyone in this trailer has a British accent, which gives me the MI6 feel of James Bond, right?
Yes.
Except for her, who only speaks 4 times in this trailer, and she don't have an English accent, and Gal Gadot can't do an accent besides
her
own, which is an Israeli accent. So, yeah, maybe she should work on that.
It should be a Mossad movie.
I mean,
yeah, and the thing is, it's like Steve Trevor in the Wonder Woman movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's American, and all his handlers are British. This is the same thing.
Well, in that first Wonder Woman
movie,
this
is the same thing. It
but
never really explains that, which made no sense.
No, they did explain. He was on loan to the British.
He was their main guy. That wouldn't happen. Anyway, supposed to be the British at that time. They wouldn't take on an American. Anyway.
In 1918, First World War?
They wouldn't. No, they were too snooty for that. Those very classes still, the people in power. Anyway, it looks similar. That's what it made me think of.
Okay, so this made me feel as if Netflix is and this producer is trying to do their own version of James Bond, just Jane Bond, and they cast Gal Gadot because she's hot right now. Okay, she's been in lots of stuff. I would think after so many years she would be able to, work on her accents and that, and work with casting coaches and that, but I don't know. I guess it must be very hard to do a British accent, you know?
I don't
Should I try and do a British accent?
No, you shouldn't. But you can at least try to do a American one.
Are you saying I can't do a British accent?
That sounded like you just had a stroke. Anyway,
I could do a really funny British accent. Hello.
She's not a good actress. And she's in this because of what she looks like.
And she's popular, okay?
She looks great.
She's Wonder Woman,
she's
so...
in the wrong field. She should go back to modeling. I know she's milking the cow when she can. Anyway, she's gonna end up being a director or something. Maybe
Are you gonna give this movie a shot when it comes out in August on Netflix?
If I have a chance, I can watch it, but it's definitely not on my priority list.
It's not on my priority list either. It might be okay, but then again, Netflix original movies, which they always dump onto streaming, doesn't give me confidence. And anytime, doesn't matter whether it's Netflix or any other studio, if they take a movie and they put it directly onto streaming, it means they have no confidence in it.
I don't know if that's what's happening or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see, because Netflix has put some in the theaters. Some of these other ones look really good. So
if it's garbage, but anyway, I might check it out if I have time. Let us know what you think about this new trailer for Heart of Stone.
Yeah.
Coming out on Netflix in August. Are you excited for it yet? Maybe you're a big fan of Gal Gadot. Don't listen to us, especially Christine, who hates on Gal Gadot. If you like her, let us know down in the comments below, please.
Wonder Woman. Anyway.
Some people would argue she made Wonder Woman, so
Who would argue that? Men.
Anyway, Patty Jenkins?
No. Sorry, okay. She's not what Wonder Woman is supposed to be about. Anyway,
moving on.
Talking about that anymore.
All the Light We Cannot See comes out in Netflix on November 2nd. What did you think of this short teaser?
It looked interesting. You're gonna like it because of Second World War stuff.
This is history. Yes, it's definitely Second World War. You can tell this is going to be a series.
It looks like it's someone who's being persecuted by the Nazis, is communicating via radio with one of the people that has to work for the Nazis.
Here's the series info on Netflix. It says a blind French girl and young German soldier's path collide during Second World War. So this looks like it's going to be more of a human story of the Second World War. Not so much focusing on battles, and maybe it's about, escaping from the Nazis. Maybe it's about him defecting from the Nazi, the military, the Wehrmacht.
Could have a very sad ending.
It's got Mark Ruffalo in it.
Hugh Laurie.
Sean Levy is one of the producers on it.
Hugh Laurie is in it.
Yeah. So a few big names. Might be good.
You're going to watch it for sure.
Well, this didn't really grab me.
Oh.
If I have time, I'll check it out. Once again, it's another Netflix thing Netflix makes good series, but they also make a lot of bad series.
I'd like to watch it if I can handle it. If it's not too heavy.
I went to go check out that Transatlantic on Netflix, and that was bad.
I told you wouldn't like that. That's a PBS type show. That's not your vibe at all. That's not a Netflix show, by the way. It's a show made, and then they picked it up.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay. I'm surprised you didn't like the look of this. It looks like a lot. It looks like a big drama. It looks like some of it might be hard to watch. Anyway,
are you gonna check this out?
Way more over this Heart of Stone one. I don't know, but I don't like war things. They kind of creep me out, but we'll see.
Fair enough. So if you had a choice, you would pick this over Heart of Stone.
Times.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I might check this out. They haven't really grabbed my attention yet on it. They gotta do it better with their trailers and with promoting their stuff.
Yeah, but I liked it because the trailer didn't tell you what happens in the movie, which has been a problem lately with the trailers. All of them.
Sometimes, no, not all of them.
Is it a series or a movie?
I just said it's a series.
Oh, it's a series. Oh, yeah. Definitely, if it's a series, I definitely want to check
it out. And it premieres November 2nd, so we got a bit of time on it.
Oh, shoot. I'll be busy then. I'm so free in the summer. I'm so busy then.
It's a bit of time it's a bit early for them to start advertising something, so
there's not a lot of special effects, that's why.
However,
it's a person movie.
The reason why I say it is because Netflix usually doesn't put out trailers and promotional material until it's coming out very soon, like usually within a month.
Oh, well.
So That's a bit early for them, which is a bit odd. Well, let us know what you guys think about this new teaser trailer for All the Light We Cannot See coming out on Netflix in November. Leave a comment down below, please. Always want to hear from everyone. Oh, we got some more comments that we'll talk about later on. And last one, we got a behind-the-scenes, 2-minute featurette for Rebel Moon, which is the new Zack Snyder project.
Yes.
So, what did you think of this one?
Well, this looks up my alley. However, I was a bit on guard when someone in the trailer said it was ambitious. So that kind of made me think, oh, when they say that, that means it didn't quite get there. But it's definitely the kind of thing I like to see. I like to see sci-fi about different planets and different civilizations. I definitely will check it out. I don't know if it's going to be okay or not, but I will definitely check it out.
Okay, so this is a sci-fi action epic. He's essentially making his own Star Wars. And that's we've known that for a long time. And good on Zack Snyder for doing this if he's wanted to do this, because everyone in Hollywood wants to work on Star Wars. I mean, everyone, right? But because Lucasfilm is such a mess, but also Disney overall is a mess right now. And I don't want to get into that because you know who I'm going to blame for that. But good on Zack Snyder. He's gone to Netflix. They want new content. They want to work with creators like Zack Snyder because he's a big name. And they got a whole bunch of stars in this. You got Ed Skrein, Sofia Boutella. That's the mummy lady. She's been in some bad movies. Okay?
I don't know about the cast.
Jamon Hansu, who's great in everything.
I like him. I don't
Charlie Hunnam.
The rest of them.
Charlie Hunnam's in every Guy Ritchie movie. You probably like him.
I don't
Anthony Hopkins is in it.
Well,
apparently he's a voice. Ray Fisher is in it. You know who that is?
No.
That's Cyborg from Justice League.
Oh, well, hopefully he'll get a better character and better lines in this one.
Carrie Elwes is in it. You know, from The Princess Bride.
Oh, okay.
And Robin Hood Men in Tights.
The hero.
Corey Stoll's in this too. Holy crap.
He looks like he's way down. He probably just has a cameo.
Corey Stoll. MODOK himself.
Well, I don't consider him as MODOK. But anyway. No, listen, this is the kind of stuff I like to see. It's something new. It's sci-fi. I like to see it. I'm just a little weary when they literally said in the trailer, it's ambitious. And when somebody says that means they had this big project that they're trying to pull off.
And you think they're going to cram too much into this movie?
And they didn't really get there. Yeah, that's what ambitious means to me.
Okay.
I didn't like that word. It just kind of said, okay, because it is a lot to create this.
As I'm watching this trailer, I'm like, okay, so they're going to a backwoods planet. There's farmers. It's kind of poor. Someone's got a lightsaber in this. There's spaceships. I'm like, okay, clearly this is Star Wars.
I didn't feel that way about it.
Did you see the lightsaber?
No, but I mean, there's a lot of great series that haven't been Star Wars that are dealing with space stuff that I've enjoyed.
I mean, you could argue the first Guardians of the Galaxy is a newer age version of Star Wars because it just introduces this huge space world with all these aliens.
I think of Star Wars as more about the personal stuff. It's not necessarily about the tech or anything. And I think that's why it was so popular.
Yeah,
it's not about the characters. Science at all.
It's just set in this fantasy sci-fi world.
It could have happened technically on Earth, I suppose, in different villages. Anyway, I like the look of this. I'm excited for it. I hope that it does meet the mark. I don't know.
This one doesn't come out till December 22nd, so right before Christmas. Oh yeah, they've been working on this for a while.
CGI, I'm imagining.
Imagine with the spaceships and everything.
Right.
I didn't see much space in this though, so maybe it's similar to Dune where it's like we don't really focus on space, we're just stuck on these planets all the time.
Yeah, well, space itself isn't very interesting. It's just blackness. So it's not entirely interesting. You gotta go somewhere to do something interesting.
Or you keep running into nebulas all the time. You have to check out. You know,
you're going the holodeck and things go wrong.
We'll get to that. So, I'm going to check this out. You're going to check this out, I'm guessing?
I definitely want to check this out.
Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not another crappy Netflix movie. Because I'm sick of those. And also,
I haven't seen
Netflix.
that many.
If you're making a big budget movie like this, just put it in theaters for a couple of weeks and make some money. Stop being so difficult. There was Netflix news. Did you want to hear about it? Oh, let us know what you think about this Rebel Moon behind the scenes trailer that they showed us. Moving on, did you want to hear about the Netflix news from, it was like, I think 2 weeks ago?
What's the news?
In a symbolic move, Netflix shareholders voted against giving the executives their pay. Okay?
Right.
They voted against giving them the renewal of their contract or whatever. I'm not exactly sure on the details.
Well, they want their dividends.
So essentially they're saying their shareholders are saying they have no confidence in Netflix executive. So now it means nothing. They're still getting paid. They're still getting their bonuses and everything, but it's embarrassing for them. So essentially the shareholders saying, hey, you guys are messing up and you guys aren't worth this. We don't want to pay you this. So it shows that their shareholders have no confidence in what their leadership is doing. Because Netflix has been, there's been talk in the trades about Netflix is holding up the WGA strike with the writers because they don't want to pay writers residuals or even pay them at all, pay them to be regular staff writers and have benefits and everything as full-time employees.
Things are really heavy right and the streaming wars. There are basically streaming wars going on, and they're trying to hold on to their position, I imagine.
Well, they are still number one. In fact, recent news this week is that their subscriptions have gone up crazy since they instituted their new policy with password sharing.
Yeah.
So password sharing now, if you're doing that, they catch you. They say, hey, you can pay like $7.99 and add these other people to your account, and then they don't have to pay for the full package. And so you're paying more so that other people can use it, and then both you can, which is extremely generous of them because they don't have to do that.
The other night, I was watching Netflix, and you couldn't watch it downstairs here.
That's a separate issue.
Oh.
Okay?
I don't.
So what that means is that everyone who was complaining saying that they weren't going to sign up, well, who cares? Netflix isn't making any money off them anyway because they're already stealing it from them because that's just theft. But apparently a lot of people did sign up for it, whether it be through these family plans, like these additional ones, or by signing up for their own account. So they've had great numbers. Anyway, so there's some good news there. But
pay for the content and pay the writers. Things are, we'll see how, it's going to be a few years before we figure out what's going on with the streaming wars.
I haven't talked about it on our show, but we're still in the middle of the WGA strike, which is the Writers Guild of America. It's been going on for like a month and a half now. It's not good because studios actually talk on the trades is that Netflix is one of the worst ones. They don't want to pay the writers, as I mentioned before, what they're worth and give them full-time employee, writing credits and all this stuff. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I just hope the writer strike is over soon because next year we're getting nothing but like reality content from all the networks, and that's why, because you don't need writers for reality TV.
Yeah, reality TV
that's a bummer.
So far.
Our next trailer is for Kraven the Hunter from Sony. They released a Red Band trailer this week. Go right ahead. Tell us your thoughts on this, Christine.
It looks really dumb. It looks way worse than Morbius, if that's even possible.
I also got Morbius vibes from this.
Yeah, but worse.
Possibly. They're just making up stuff now, and I don't know if fans are going to accept that. There's a lot of different origins for Kraven the Hunter.
I'm not aware of them.
By the way, Kraven the Hunter is another Spider-Man villain. All that Sony seems to want to do is make movies out of Spider-Man's villains instead of just more Spider-Man stuff.
We're getting a lot of Spider-Man stuff. You just can't get enough.
I don't agree that. I don't think they should focus on villains. I mean, so they got Venom, then they did Morbius, which is terrible.
Some Venom stuff, but the Morbius was bad.
And now they're coming out with this. Worse. This doesn't look good. It's just another Spider-Man villain. Why can't they just do that in a Spider-Man movie?
He's not in it, by the looks of it. It's just a bunch of weird big lions and bloodiness and too much killing and just no finesse. It looks like it has no finesse.
Yeah, is it just me, or does Russell Crowe in this trailer have the exact same accent he did in Thor: Love and Thunder? I swear his Greek Zeus accent is the same as his Russian accent.
Is he supposed to be Russian? No, I didn't know that. Anyway, it's just silly.
That's
it just
their
looks,
name.
It just looks like a bad. It looks like a B movie.
Sorry, I should explain. So Kraven the Hunter, his name is Sergei Kravenov.
Oh.
Sergei Kravenov. They're
Okay.
Russian. Okay? Him and his brother that you see in the trailer, his name's Dmitri. And he's actually another Spider-Man villain, super villain. You want to know who that guy is?
Dmitri?
Yeah, his
Who's
brother's
he?
Dmitri. He's the Chameleon. Another very old Spider-Man villain.
I didn't know there was that one, but I know Spider-Man has many villains. Anyway, this movie just looks bad.
This trailer did not look good to me at all, and not just because I didn't enjoy Morbius, I got the exact same vibes as I was watching.
Yeah.
I was like, where did they come up with this origin
Right.
for Kraven that he gets some? So the lion bites him, and then it drips blood, which I guess would be his own blood, back into the hole. So what? You got some mucus on it?
Bad science.
It's magic mucus from the
Makes no
lion, and he
sense.
gains all these powers.
Makes no sense.
Who came up with that?
I mean, when we saw Morbius trailer, I don't think we thought Morbius the movie was going to be that bad. Like, then we saw the movie, like, this sucks. But even the trailer sucks. We haven't seen the movie yet. Like, when you saw Morbius trailer, we didn't think it was going to suck that bad.
I don't know if yeah. Maybe if they hadn't tried to tone it down for PG-13, and if it was more like a hard R vampire movie and it was scary, that would have been a good.
I don't know.
That would have been better,
lame.
But this doesn't look good to me either.
This looks more lame. That's all I can
Yeah.
say. Just
They're
the trailer.
taking departures from the comics, so unless it's a good change and fans like it, you're just setting yourself up for fan backlash. Because people are going to complain,
Well,
and they already are about this trailer, that this doesn't look good.
I'm not going to go see it.
It looks like it's going to be pretty bad. I've actually been kind of dreading this, because I knew this was coming. Because this is coming out in October. It's coming out October 6th.
I don't have time in October to go see movies anyway, so.
Jeez, I really don't have much faith in Sony. Because in these...
Can't trust them.
I think they just got lucky with the Venom movies.
They were funny, some of them. Something about... I liked some of the Venom stuff.
I think they got lucky with that. I think they kind of fell backwards into that, and then they're like, oh, that's what worked. Let's just do that more for the second one.
The Venom.
And they played into the PG-13, which... This is going to be rated R, though.
This does not look funny or anything like
No,
Venom was.
This is going to be an R-rated movie. So maybe they're experimenting, see if they make these villain movies and they make them really
way too violent and unnecessary violence and that's what made me say I'm not going to watch it.
Might get the crowd from like John Wick movies or
that's what I don't like
the
about those movies.
The Deadpool crowd,
No, the Deadpool is
maybe
like
you'll get some of those Fast and Furious fans to come over for some of this
but
R-rated action.
Carol Baskin might go to see it.
Who's that?
The big cat lady.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Regardless, Kraven the Hunter comes out in October. Doesn't look very good to me. I don't have much faith in Sony in this, but I'll go see it. I'm going to hope it's good. Maybe they shouldn't have showed us some of those things they showed us in this trailer because that looked really bad. Or maybe they just want to like, hey guys, just so you know, these are the worst parts of the movie. Everything else is awesome.
That's what they put in the trailer? I don't think so.
Because if everything else is awesome in the movie, it's just like when you're watching a comedy. If it's funny, then it doesn't matter what the story is.
The premise, a lion bleeds on you and all of a sudden you turn into some kind of monster?
Sounds pretty dumb, okay?
People at the zoo would be all like
Listen,
superheroes.
I believe that Sony, with their Spider-Verse of movies that they're going to do, I think it's a good idea. But if you're getting a writer, a movie writer, or a screenplay writer to do this, there's two classic ways that people get superpowers in the comics, okay? It's always the same. Inhale some stuff, radiation, and just fall back on that. What is this blood from a lion crap?
That looks so dumb. There's no radiation other
No.
than the sun.
I do think that... Okay, let us know what you guys think about Kraven the Hunter coming out in October.
I'm out.
Sony already lost her with that trailer, so that's a bad trailer right there. I'm going to go check it out, but that's because I'm a sucker for punishment. And sometimes you have a fun time, right? Other times you just have a fun time with a really bad movie. You know, like a lot of the DC movies that you love. They're bad, but you have a fun time with them.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's the opposite.
Let us know what you think about Kraven the Hunter. Are you excited to go see it? Do you think it's going to be good? I hope it's good. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Before we move on, you know they've been threatening us, Sony has been threatening us with a Madam Web movie for a long time. Have you heard of this before?
No.
Do you remember me mentioning it on the show at all?
Charlotte's Web, the book. I don't know. What Mother Web? Like the restaurant?
No, Madam Web.
Oh.
It's another character from the comics. No one's ever heard of it. It's a pretty obscure character.
Okay. Mother Web's is a restaurant in Nova
Now,
Scotia.
we haven't seen much from this, but I don't think it's actually a Madam Web movie. I think it's more a Spider-Woman movie. In which...
Spider-Woman?
Yeah. There's lots of Spider-Women.
Oh, anyway, you lost me already.
There's lots of different Spider-Men, too.
Just so much. I'm getting over it all. I'm just super saturated.
Yeah, it is a bit saturated right now, but it's mostly saturated with, you know, subpar product.
That's the problem. It's just been, I'm getting superhero, like, I'm getting over.
Anyway, I think Marvel is already scaling things back because they moved dates already, so you can take more time to make better movies, so we won't be getting as much.
It just seems like so much.
But anyway, that's my thoughts on this upcoming Madam Web movie that I think it's supposed to come out next year sometime.
Who's in it? Helena Bonham Carter? Sounds like something she would be in.
Dakota Johnson?
Anyway, I'm just kind of, super saturated with superheroes.
Dakota Johnson starred in those 50 Shades of Grey movies.
Oh, her. No.
And
I don't care for her that much. I don't know. She's not mine.
She was in The Social Network.
I don't care for her that much. People really like her. I don't know why. It's like I don't vibe with her. I don't know.
I saw her in The Social Network, but I can't speak for a lot of her other films that I'm looking through right now, so...
Anyway,
sure.
Who knows? It could be any obscure thing as long as they make a good movie, but I am just getting, it's superhero overload recently.
That's what they always love to say, superhero fatigue. I disagree with that, but...
I'm experiencing it personally.
Moving on to our next review, or actually our first review, Asteroid City from Focus Features. This is the new Wes Anderson movie. Mm-hmm. And you want to go see this.
I do. I hope to go see it this week, but we had scheduling conflicts, so I didn't get to.
So, I would love to talk about this movie in spoilers, but I'm not. So this is a spoiler-free review. This is just my opinions on this. This did not look good.
You don't like Wes Anderson films.
And it's not good. No, apparently even Wes Anderson fans don't like this.
No. But it looks cool. But I mean, and a picture can look cool as well. You got that, like the first 10 minutes, you're done, right? You're over that. They got to show you something more, right?
Yes. Well, it currently has a 76% certified fresh critic rating and a 65% audience score. Like so I'm guessing I'm more in the minority because people who like Wes Anderson films would go to this.
I think that's very low for one of his films, but those scores seem low.
But who's going to see Wes Anderson movies besides people who like Wes Anderson?
I don't know. They look nice. They have a nice look to them. That goes over.
For me, this was garbage.
Yeah.
This was just garbage. I mean... Yeah, I get he has this special style that he likes to do. It kind of makes it look cheap to me.
I bet you it's better than Beau is Afraid, though.
Dude, none of this made sense. None of this made sense at all. it's all just seemed to be metaphor and symbolism, and I have no idea what this movie's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of nonsense.
Well, I'll go to see
For
it
me.
and then we can talk more about it
And
see if I understood anything.
I have so many questions about this.
Okay, well, I'm going to see it soon. Maybe even tomorrow. If it gets too hot, I might go.
This is one of those movies you go to see, you don't understand a single thing.
Right.
And I don't know, some people, they go see something like that and they're like, I don't understand it, it must be great. No, if you don't understand it, it means it's garbage. So, Wes Anderson, don't make garbage movies and then
Well, that's disappointing.
we're just going to get a bunch of, artistic people saying, oh, it meets so much on so many layers. Does it? Does it really? Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of artistic films and yeah, I get what they're going for sometimes. That doesn't necessarily make that it's a good narrative. Ugh.
Yeah, the narrative is off on this. That seems to be what the problem is.
This was not a fun time.
No.
I
didn't think you were gonna like it anyway.
You know who goes to see Wes Anderson films?
Christine.
You set yourself up for this. Who goes to see Wes Anderson films? Old white people, okay? That's who goes to see Wes Anderson films.
I'm not that old.
It's not.
Am I considered old now?
I'm old.
No, you're not.
This is not, and I didn't think this was funny at all. It had a couple of laughs, but mostly this was just dumb.
It looks bleak.
And
odd.
the most interesting thing in this movie is the Roadrunner. I mean...
Okay. I want to see it. I'm going to see it, and then maybe we can talk about it and maybe figure it out.
It's just a whole bunch of stuff
there
that
is
doesn't
anything.
make any sense. I could yell about this movie for an hour.
Okay. Well, let's not.
I give this a worst movie ever.
You don't
Don't
like it.
waste your time or money on this. It's an hour and 44 minutes, so I figure it wasn't going to be that bad, but
Yeah, it's short.
felt like forever though.
Oh, okay.
And my theater was full, but
Were people complaining or leaving? Did people walk out?
no, but some people were real dicks to me at this theater. Okay, I had a bad experience too, but so this made my experience worse. Hold on, before I get into that, if you've seen this new Wes Anderson movie, Asteroid City, let us know what you think of it down in the comments below. Maybe you loved it, and tell us why you loved it.
Like,
I want to hear.
Bo was
Very-
afraid a
If
bunch
you
of people
understand
walked out.
what happens in this movie, let me know, please, because I don't have a clue.
Well, at least people didn't
However,
walk out.
These 3 people came in 10 minutes late because they were at the concession.
Oh,
they didn't show
yeah.
up in
I
time.
only have one person.
So they came in 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And they were talking, and then the one guy, it was 2 young women and a guy,
Yeah.
and the guy tries to start talking to me, like, as the
And the
movie's
movie's
playing.
going.
As the movie's playing, I couldn't hear him. He probably wanted me to explain what happened to him. I'm like, what is this? All I said was,
He
I
asked
can't
the
hear
wrong
you.
person.
Which
I can
was
tell
the
you
truth. 'cause
that.
also, don't bother me when I'm at the
He asked
movies.
the wrong person.
Okay, that's how you
Don't
get.
disturb
That's how you
Gregory.
get yelled at.
Don't disturb
Don't
Gregory
bother
at the
me.
movies.
If you see me at the movies,
That's
don't
like-
bother me because I'm probably gonna yell at you.
That's a crime in Gregory land.
So this guy comes in and tries to start talking to me
So
while the
he's sitting
movie's
next to
playing.
you,
I tell him
obviously.
I can't hear a single thing. Okay, that
Right.
he's saying because I
Well,
can't.
you couldn't explain it to him anyway because it didn't make any sense,
I'm
right?
watching the movie. The 3 of them kept talking for 5 minutes
Oh.
and then walked out and
Maybe
didn't
they were
come
in the wrong
and
movie.
didn't come back.
They were in the wrong movie. That's why. That's why they were late. I've had that happen before there.
But
It's confusing the way some of the theaters are labeled. Anyway.
that takes a special kind of stupid to do
No,
stuff
well,
like that. That's the second
yeah.
time that's happened to me at this
Listen,
theater.
The one time I went in the afternoon, I wasn't working, I was off, and there's nobody at the theater, and I was the only person in the theater, right? I forgot what I was watching. Only person there.
Mhm.
And this woman comes in halfway through the movie and walks up the aisle and starts coming to my aisle. I'm like, that's weird. And then she comes over to me and says, "You're in my seat."
In an empty theater?
I was the only one in there.
Was the movie already
I
playing?
Yes, I really got scared. I thought it was someone coming to tell me that something bad had happened to you guys or something. That's what I really thought because she kept on coming closer and closer. I'm like, this is really strange. And then I was like, no, this is my seat. And then she's like, oh.
You know,
she's in the wrong theater.
That's also a special kind of stupid, you know. You walk into a movie
It's
theater.
empty.
I've never done this in my life. Walk into a movie theater where the movie's already playing. See, there's one person. Make a beeline right for them.
They did.
Oh, I'm gonna go talk to this person.
It was like 20 minutes in or something.
Yeah,
or like,
even though this movie's already playing, so I'm gonna be a dick
in.
and disturb them. Even if they're in my seat, the movie's
weird.
empty. The theater's empty. Sit wherever you want.
Strange, and it scared me when she started coming towards me. Anyway, and then that same movie, halfway through, at the end of the movie, there was like 10 minutes left. These two women came in that same theater with trays of popcorn and all that, and walked up and sat in the back row.
Uh-huh.
And there was like 10 minutes left of the movie. And then at the end, I was like, what are you guys doing here? They were going to see it. They were coming to see the next showing.
So they wanted to see the ending first?
10 minutes early.
Why would you do that? Just wait
Like,
in the
it was
lobby.
more like a half an hour early or whatever. Yeah. And so they saw the end of the movie. I don't even remember what movie it was. But it was so strange that day.
You know, this could be an ongoing segment for us. Weird theater stories. If you got a weird theater story, leave it down below and let us know, because people are really stupid at the theater all the time.
I felt like I had to explain what had happened to them.
Okay, and don't get on my case. I know we're not supposed to use words like stupid anymore, okay? But I maintain that people gotta meet me halfway and just stop acting so stupid, and then I won't have to say
that
it.
woman was not smart at that moment. It scared the pants off me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So what did we talk about? We talked about Asteroid
Kraven,
City, which
Asteroid City.
I didn't like that. So I also saw Elemental. I saw this on Cheap Night.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
get to
did
go.
a out of theater review reaction and left it on my YouTube page.
Yeah.
Although it was late, so I don't think anyone watched it. This movie currently has a 75% certified fresh rating and a 92% audience score. It's an hour and 43. This movie is flopping pretty bad because no one's going to see it.
Not witty. I mean, there's a lot of advertisement for this movie. They started playing like trailers for this movie like last year, it seems.
I can't really say anything I'm not going to spoil this, and I don't think I could really say that much. I mean, giving away the plot, but
it's not very good. From
you watch the people are loving it. Critics enjoy it, and audiences are loving it. So
are you under 10? Under 10-year-olds might love it.
Maybe, I don't know. Just people aren't going to see it.
They've advertised it enough.
It was a nice movie.
It's got the most advertising of any
It's
movie.
It's an immigrant story for both parents and kids.
Okay.
It's also a love story.
Okay.
You know, if you've seen the trailers between the water guy Wade and the fire lady
I wish they
Ember
hadn't used a fire lady. I heard there was a kid already that tried to set a fire, wanted to make her or create her or something.
Sure.
So someone told me. I don't know if it's true, but we don't want to encourage kids to play with fire. And that's what I felt when I first saw it. I was like, what? This is a kid's movie and it's not a good idea.
I don't really care about that. I think, it doesn't matter what I think on that.
As a parent...
This movie, it's a nice movie. It's a good date movie, is what I said in my reaction. Okay, couples can go see this, definitely, of any age. And you'll have a fun time. It's nice.
Oh, okay.
It's not boring or anything.
Oh, I thought you didn't like it.
I said it was nice.
Okay.
There's nothing really new about it. So maybe that's why people are not enjoying this. It seems to be one of Pixar's least popular movies that they've released. So I had a fun time. If you're into seeing animated movies, if you want a nice date movie, or if you want a nice story maybe if you're really into Pixar movies, and this is a nice immigrant story, it's great. I had a fun time with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I give it a best movie ever. I'm not going to go see it again, and I saw it only because it was cheap night. And, yeah, you weren't able to come with me there, unfortunately.
No, I've been busy. But school is over.
But apparently no one's going to see this. So that's why it's flopping really hard.
Oh.
Have you seen this? And let us know. what you thought of it. If you're not going to see it in the theaters, let us know. I mean, are you just waiting for it to come on Disney Plus, or, you know?
It will be on Disney Plus soon.
Well, a lot of the Pixar movies were released straight to Disney Plus during the pandemic.
Right.
So...
She has her paw over her eye.
That's okay.
It's so cute.
Well, it was a fun time. Let us know your thoughts on Elemental, please. Moving on, Netflix movie. You weren't interested in this one. Extraction 2.
No.
Electric Boogaloo.
No.
You weren't interested in seeing Hemsworth back?
No. Jumping and running and fighting. And... It's not my kind of thing.
It's 2 hours, 3 minutes.
Oh, it's long.
It's got pretty high ratings. 78% certified fresh critic rating for just an action movie. And it's an 88% audience score.
Okay, did you like it?
Yeah, I had a fun time with this. I mean, you're not really there for the story.
No.
But Chris Hemsworth character, Tyler Rake. Okay? He's back with his dark past, you know? You're not really there for a story. It just picks up right at the end where you last saw him after he'd been shot up and completely broken. He's still on that bridge.
I like the story.
Then he's got to heal up, and then it's like time to go back on another mission. Find out why I fought so hard to come back. Time for another mission. So he goes on another mission, and there's with his team. Yeah. And his team was actually really good too.
Okay.
There's a lot of good action. I mean, most of it is with Hemsworth, but then there's some that's with his team, and it's quite good.
Oh, that's good.
It's a lot of long camera shots or made to look that way. So a lot of, you know, really close-in fighting and really good choreography. I mean, this is how you make a good action movie, just like how, you know, John Wick makes good action movies. If action is just nothing but cuts and shaky cam, that's terrible. No one wants to see that. So this is produced by the Russo brothers.
Oh, okay.
And they were also involved in writing it, so it's their production company. So I guess they're having success outside the MCU now with Netflix, with these Extraction movies. Because at one point, the first Extraction was had the highest views of any Netflix movie. And I think it's been surpassed since then. I mean, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but at one point it was #1. So of course they're going to make a sequel to that. And then just like Murder Mystery, lots of people watched it, make a sequel. Okay? So that gets greenlit for a sequel. If that helps them get more subscribers or retain their current subscribers, I mean, that's their business, right? I had a fun time with this. Not really much that I'm going to spoil about this. There's one of his partners in it. There's a woman in it, and she's great. Okay?
So it delivers. Like,
yeah.
It delivers what you're looking for.
It does. Kind of gets a bit, just like with John Wick, it gets a little bit too wacky because it's like everyone's wearing bulletproof suits, you know? I mean, they're in body armor and that, but I mean, people don't just fall over when they get shot, right?
Right.
They can't have body armor everywhere.
No, it doesn't bang off their face.
Which also mean well, they're wearing big helmets too, but also there's a lot of knife fighting in this.
Oh.
So a lot of people get stabbed in this.
That's not my thing at all.
Yeah, well, it's rated R. So there's a lot of violence in this. So maybe if your kids don't like that, don't show that to them. If you don't like it. But if you did enjoy Extraction, or if you're going to check it out, I give it a best movie ever. Had a fun time with this.
That's good.
Did I say my review for Asteroid City? I think I gave it a worst movie ever.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of Extraction 2 down in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Moving on, let's talk about a movie that's coming out next weekend, No Hard Feelings by Sony. Comes out June 23rd. We saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
So spoiler-free review for this. Did you have a good time with this?
Well, it was fun. There was laughs.
Definitely.
We laughed. There was laughy times. I just think it just was kind of crude. Like, the setup was kind of a bit off. The ending was a bit off. Like, we all know the premise, I suppose. The premise is that these parents are helicopter
if you watch
parents,
the trailer,
and they hire a girl to date their son, and he's not supposed to know about it. And of course, that goes wrong.
It's essentially prostitution.
Yeah, I think they could have gone about it in a different way.
We talked about that when we reviewed the trailer. And as this is spoiler free, but they do address that as she's having that conversation in the living room with the parents that you see in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's very much, yeah, we realize what this is, but they're helicopter parents and they got to do this for their son.
They're extreme parents.
Okay.
But
any other thoughts on this movie before
I think it went completely south when he finds out the gate. Of course, he's going to find out. We know that. And when he finds out, I think it went south in the motivations. The motivations were just mixed up in the whole thing. I don't know. I just think it needed a little change of the story. I didn't care for some of it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Before I get into my reviews, it currently has a 94% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's really high. 94% of the audience liked it. However, that's fewer than 50 ratings.
Right. People did laugh a lot out loud.
There was quite a few laugh moments. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm in the minority on this because I didn't really enjoy this movie. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, these are the things that I liked. So there was definitely several laugh out loud moments. There was a lot that was given away in the trailer that they shouldn't have done that. There's we see in the trailer where she's getting her car towed away and she's in her bathrobe and she's arguing with the guy. Like that whole sequence would have been a lot funnier if we hadn't seen it all in the trailer.
The whole thing when he punched her in the throat, we shouldn't have seen that in the theater.
Okay. That was in the trailer as well.
Shouldn't have been in
but after that tow truck scene, then there's another scene with her in her car in the tow truck. That's quite funny. I'm not going to spoil it. So that was some good laughs there. There's a scene on the beach, which they also show some of it in the trailer. But then there's a scene afterwards with these three dumb kids that is quite funny. However, there is a review here posted on Rotten Tomatoes I saw by Carla Hay from Culture Mix. And get this, it says, it has a few laugh out loud moments and mostly recycles crude cliches from 1980s comedies about nerds losing their virginities. Yeah, it does have a lot of vibes like that. Also some John Hughes vibes, but not as good as a John Hughes film. Jennifer Lawrence's full frontal nude scene reeks of desperation. Yeah, I kind of got that too. This outdated movie is as edgy as a used condom from 1984. Ouch! That's a harsh review from Carly Hay.
The thing I did like about it was the fact that his parents say that he's all this stuff, but his peers like him.
Except he has no friends.
He has, but he explains why he has no friends.
Because he's a recluse.
Because he had a problem with his parents. His parents are his problem. But his friends do like him, and they don't make fun of him. They don't make fun of him and stuff. So I don't know. It's just a little off. I don't like the way that the parents hired her, and basically as a prostitute, that's basically what they're doing. And I think it could have been a lot better than that, and not had that been that way. It could be that they run into this girl and they know her, and they're like, you should meet our son, and we'll give you a car if you encourage him to go to school and whatever. It could have been a lot better.
How I would fix this movie is it has a weird, creepy premise to me. Maybe this doesn't bother some people, but
it bothers
maybe
me.
Maybe it's because we're older, but maybe if I was in my 20s, that premise wouldn't bother me. I don't know. I mean, whatever. However, I am going to say that how I would fix this movie is you can have that weird, creepy premise, and it wouldn't matter if I was just laughing throughout this whole film. Okay? If a whole bunch of the jokes weren't spoiled, and if it had way more jokes in it. If you were laughing throughout, because there was a lot of cringe moments, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this, and a lot of awkward moments. It was too much of that, and then there was too much emotion at the end. This is supposed to be a comedy, so I want to laugh and have a good time. Yeah. So if I was laughing throughout, I wouldn't give a damn about this creepy premise, because they would just be making fun of it and throwing constant jokes at you. If you're going to write a comedy, I don't care if you have to have 10, 15 writers on the movie. Pay them what they're worth, and write lots of jokes, and then you'll get a good comedy. So it did have some good stuff in it. I was entertained. It's not all that long, but it's an hour and 43 minutes. So
I think it would have been a better premise. Would have been he's got this kid, he's got this helicopter parents, and he falls for a 32-year-old local. That would have been a lot better premise for the movie, and to show what the parents do to try to stop him from going out with her. I think that would have been a lot better movie. Yeah. It's twisted. It's a bit sick, and the ending didn't make much sense to me. The motivations were off. I don't know.
Yeah. What rating would you give this movie?
I don't know.
On the internet rating system, I give it a worst movie ever because it didn't make me laugh enough. And you know what? This is supposed to be a comedy. Write more jokes.
Well,
jeez.
I thought there were quite a few jokes, and it's really hard. A lot of movies are supposed to be funny these days, and they're not funny. So yes, people did laugh a lot. So I give it something for that. But just the whole premise and the way that the story went was just weird. I won't want to give it away, but it was just weird what happened in the end.
Okay, so you liked it or you didn't like it? Can you say that?
I like being able to laugh, but I didn't really like the story, and it made me uncomfortable.
So overall, best or worst?
I don't do that.
Okay.
I'll give it like a 65.
Let us know your thoughts on Jennifer Lawrence's new comedy, No Hard Feelings. Are you excited to go see it? We're probably in the minority because right now it's at 94%. That will change. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, let us know and let us know why. We want to hear your thoughts. Always want to hear from other people. Don't let our opinion of this change yours at all. Don't let us take away your enjoyment of this.
Right. I think the other problem with it was that kids find themselves when they go away to university. Not the parents were so concerned about him. He's going to go away and leave his parents, and that's when he's going to find his full life. It's just silly.
Our next topic we're going to talk about is something I've been looking forward to for over 20 years. They did a reboot of Clone High. Now, do you remember this show from 2002? We watched the original first season of Clone High. And so they relaunched it. Just came out in May. I saw it on HBO. Max, as it's called now. We don't have that here in Canada. I saw it before I went away on vacation, but I didn't have time to watch it. It's currently rated at 100% fresh critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but only a 49% audience score. Now, I've only seen the first 2 issues so far, and I think there's 8.
This is the new one or the old one?
I'm looking forward to. This is the new one. I'm looking forward to it. It's by. It says it has Phil Lord and Chris Miller on it. They're producers because they did the first one. I've been following their career since 2002 when they did the first one, because that is one of the best animated shows of all time. If you want to check out something hilarious, go back and watch Clone High from 2002. Now, don't have a final opinion on this yet. I'm enjoyed the first couple of seasons I've seen. It didn't seem to be as funny as the first season as I remember it, but it's been a year since I saw it. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. This is one of the funniest comedy shows I've ever seen.
I didn't find it that funny. I watched it with you.
Yep.
A few years ago. I mean, it was okay for me, but I didn't like it. It was no Futurama, put it that way.
Futurama. For you, everyone enjoys things differently, right? So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to get back to everyone on this when I finish watching it. I don't know how many episodes there's going to be. Let's see what it says here. It says 10 episodes, so there's still 2 more. And, Nicole Sullivan's in this? Wow. Will Forte. Nicole Sullivan, she was in Mad TV for years.
Yeah.
Has anyone checked out the new Clone High series on Max? Let us know whether you enjoy it or not. I'm really looking forward to it. You can watch it with me, and I can watch the first 2 episodes again if you're interested. Okay. If you're not, no big deal. So probably 2 more weeks. So gonna get caught up this week for sure.
Talk about animated series. My daughter and I have watched Star Trek Lower Decks, like the 3 seasons. I've watched each episode way more than twice, I think. Mm-hmm. It's not that many of them. And today we watched the episode of Peanut Hamper.
Peanut Hamper.
Yeah. I tell you, it's so funny. Peanut Hamper is a character that came on as kind of like a student.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like finding her way, but she's a bit of an a-hole anyway, and she kind of abandoned her ship. So this is the Adventures of Peanut Hamper kind of part 2, and she finds herself on a bird planet. And anyway, it's just hilarious. As the animation of the Lower Decks,
This one's really funny.
Yes, and the whole Lower Decks, I love the whole series. I think it's terrific.
I can't speak too much on this show. I've seen, I think, 2 episodes with you, and I enjoyed them, and I'm going to get to watching this series. It currently has an 89% fresh critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so most critics are saying something nice about it. 72% audience score, so not all the fans are liking it, but 3/4. If you don't know
Star Trek, you're not going to get the show. You have to know Star Trek to get the show. It's all about making jokes about Star Trek. That's what it's about.
Just, would kids enjoy this? Or is it too inside baseball?
Well, teenagers enjoy it. Our daughter, she's watched most of them with me. She loves it.
Okay.
So I don't think little kids, no. It's meant for adults.
So I looked this up yesterday, and according to the report, we're supposed to get season 4 before the end of the summer this year.
Right.
Because we currently have 3 seasons. So maybe I'll have time to get caught up by then, and then I'll watch it with you. Or I'll just watch season 4 with you as it comes out, and then I'll go back and watch the first 3 seasons.
I can see that Star Trek fans might not like it. The Star Trek fans that see Star Trek as a future they want to be in, a future where everything's perfect, a future where everything falls into place, and they'd love to be an employee on the Enterprise or whatever, and live in that perfect world. But for me, I always saw, when I see Star Trek, I realize we need that's why the Orville was so successful.
Because it was funny?
They came and say, we need better people, because people are not perfect.
Yeah.
The world is not perfect. You can't even if we made the world here tomorrow perfect, we still have screw-ups and stuff.
Yeah, people get pissed off if people make mistakes.
Right,
that's what happens.
It's not even about mistakes. The Lower Decks is about the people that we've never seen their stories. Because the only people whose stories we see on Star Trek are the chief officers.
Yeah, the most important crew members, like 2 aliens you bring on board, were useless.
Except for Voyager, exactly, which was a bad idea, and then they moved away from that, right? Yeah, so it shows the people that aren't important, and even the ship itself, though, is not important. The whole ship, even the command crew that are on the ship, they're California class, so they don't matter. They get to do second contact.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
I remember
they get to give gifts to people and do lame assignments, right?
Yep.
So the ship itself is lower class, and then the people we're dealing with are the people, they live in the hallways, literally, right?
What's the name of the ship? The Cerritos?
Cerritos.
Okay, so the Cerritos is essentially like Voyager, but Voyager was sort of interesting because it got sent to the Delta Quadrant. Otherwise, they will have been doing dumb, essentially interstellar janitor jobs like this Cerritos ship. Yeah. Okay, because they're, the D students, as we've established.
Right, exactly, because a world is never going to be perfect. And I think that could be why some Star Trek fans don't like it, because they want to live in this perfect world. But I don't know, I'm just always a cynic. Things are never going to be perfect. And it's really funny. And if you know, sir, you're going to really enjoy it.
That's probably why in the 90s I enjoyed Babylon 5 more than I did Star Trek. Because Star Trek was just too perfect, right? And on Babylon 5, people were getting pissed off. They're backstabbing each other. And on Star Trek, they're just stoic. Yes, I'm upset, but I forgive you. I get over it. And then everyone's what is this?
All those episodes where they're playing instruments and stuff, it bothered me. That's why I like Deep Space Nine the best. Because they weren't doing that as much.
What rating would you give Star Trek Lower Decks?
Oh, I give it a 98. I love it.
That good.
Like I said, I've watched I think all the episodes more than once for sure. Because there's not that many of them. Yeah. I just think if I need a laugh, I'll put it on. There's really funny things, and Miles O'Brien is the most important man ever in history.
Call him Meanie? The Irish guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to watch it to understand. Anyway, I just really think it's fun.
Sure. I thought it was Reg Barkley because he was appearing everywhere.
He's just everywhere. No.
Okay. So let us know what you think about Star Trek Lower Decks. Have you been enjoying it? Maybe you haven't. Are you a hardcore Trekkie? We want to hear from you. We're still trying to hear from more Trekkies on our Voyager segments. But staying in space.
Hate us.
Some people are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Staying in space, I've been continuing my Star Wars lore, learning all about Star Wars. So I read Star Wars Aftermath, which came out in 2015. It's by Chuck Wendig. I'm not familiar with his work before reading this stuff.
Ooh, it looks like R2-D2 is getting
There you
injured.
go. You can have a look at that. So this book it's the first one of a trilogy.
Oh, it's a Death Star.
Yeah, so it's Aftermath. So it says the war is over on it. So this is not long after Return of the Jedi. And it doesn't focus on the main Star Wars characters. Okay? Small spoiler, some of them do appear.
Right.
Now, this book, it has one linear storyline, and it's not about characters that we've met before. So this is about forming a ragtag group of adventurers who are the good guys. They end up working for the New Republic. Sometimes they quit and go off and do their own thing. However, what's good about this, there's a main storyline and you follow these characters and you have to learn a bunch of new Star Wars names, which takes a bit of time because they're hard Star Wars names. But this book, they come together on this outer rim planet. It's called Akiva. And what happens is, basic premise is, the Empire is lost, but so the Emperor is dead, the second Death Star is destroyed, and the Empire is losing to the New Republic, but this war is still going on.
Sorry, I swallowed my tea. Okay.
Drink some more tea, please. So what happens is there's a rebel pilot, but she's left the New Republic, and she's gone to this planet she's a mother, and she's gone to retrieve her estranged son.
Okay.
That she had to leave to go fight in the rebellion.
Right.
So he ain't happy about that, and he's 15, so he's just a snot-nosed teenager who's pissed off at everything, so he's giving her a hard time. Now there's a bounty hunter that comes into it. There's an ex-Imperial loyalty officer. There's a rebel special forces fighter, and there's a bunch of things in it.
Okay, so was it good? Did you like it?
This was quite good. In fact, this is probably this is the one I enjoyed most of all the Star Wars books, because I've been reading stuff about the High Republic, those High Republic series about the Jedi from like 200-300 years before the Phantom Menace, during the High Republic, and they weren't the greatest. Dooku Jedi Lost was all right. I did enjoy Master and Apprentice quite a bit, but this one was clearly better.
It's about people and their issues.
Yeah, and it's about character development, and so there's stakes for all these characters. And the interesting thing is, while it follows the main storyline, most chapters, not all of them, they have an interlude. And essentially what these are, they're short stories. Okay, so we're following this main story, and then suddenly, well, here's a short story about what's happening in another part of the galaxy. And sometimes you see some of those main Star Wars or pre-existing characters. For instance, we learn who the new Chancellor of the New Republic is. Any guesses who that would be? I mean, we see other characters, so Leia appears in it, but she's not a main character. She's very much in a small supporting role.
Is her father the new Chancellor?
I think he's dead. Oh. I think he died on Alderaan when they blew it up.
Oh.
Yeah, Jimmy Smits
really said, because
I think Jimmy Smits is dead.
Family, she never says it like that. She just says her people. But he was mostly on Coruscant. Anyway.
I think Jimmy Smits is dead after...
what are your thoughts? Do you think he's...
After Rogue One.
Yeah.
But...
died? I don't know.
So you get to see a bunch of... And also then you get a bunch of other stories that have nothing to do with any important characters, but there might be just something interesting happening on this planet. Oh. And we get stories about the Acolytes, and they're causing problems, these Sith Acolytes.
Oh, yes.
We get stories about... There's one short story about a guy who's selling Darth Vader's lightsaber to these Acolytes. Is it his lightsaber?
Well, in the end, Kylo Ren gets some of his... gets his helmet, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's just a bunch... So there's a lot of interesting stuff in it, and I found it was a really good mix of... It's mostly the main story. There's interesting side stories, and there's stakes to all these characters, and each one of the characters is very different from each other. I like the ex-Imperial officer. I think his name's Shinjar, something like that. It's a weird Star Wars name. The main character's name is Nora Wexley, and she's a mom. You would like that, and she's also a rebel fighter and a pilot. I would definitely recommend this series. And I'm going to read all of them. In fact, I'll do a review next week for the next one, which is called Aftermath Life Debt. And it features Han and Chewie in it, but in supporting roles.
Right. Because instead of focusing on all the lore, they're just focusing on these certain characters. They could really be anywhere. Yeah. That's what makes Star Wars popular, is the character development.
Focusing on these new characters. They could make this, so far, from what I've read of this trilogy so far, they could make a movie about this. They could make a trilogy about these stories, and they could even adapt it and make some changes for putting it on the big screen. I'd be all for it, and it'd be really interesting.
Right.
Plus, you would get to see other people. You know, you could bring back Alden Ehrenreich to play Han Solo. You could bring back the new Chewbacca guy. Can't remember his name. It's some Scandinavian name. They could recast someone for Princess Leia. They could recast someone for Luke Skywalker. Fine with that. Why do they have to do all this deep fake and de-aging junk?
Talk about
just recast.
Leia, the little girl that played her in the Han Solo. I just watched The Boogeyman yesterday. Okay, she's an excellent little actress.
Yeah, she was in Obi-Wan there.
Yeah.
But if you're a real fan of Star Wars and maybe you're into the lore, maybe you're not, I would check out this Star Wars Aftermath by Chuck Wendig. Great stuff there. I had a really good time reading it.
I'm glad you finally got a good one that you really liked.
Okay. Are you reading any of the Star Wars books? Have you read Star Wars Aftermath by Chuck Wendig? Let us know down in the comments below. Quickly, I want to mention, I talked about in our Netflix picks for the month that there was more comedy specials. There was a new Wanda Sykes comedy special that came out in May. It's called I'm an Entertainer. And there was a new Amy Schumer special that came out. I don't remember the name of it. I watched both.
I'd say Wanda Sykes is a lot funnier. Personally, I find her really funny.
It's called Emergency Contact. Yes, I should have remembered that because that's one of her jokes. Ooh, it doesn't have a good audience rating. However, I had a good time with both of them.
Yeah.
And also that Chris Rock one that I mentioned that came out back in May or April. Selective Outrage. I had
like
fun
the name
with
of it.
Okay. Audiences enjoyed it too. 75% audience score. I really enjoyed all three of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to watch.
They're only an hour long.
Oh, good.
Okay. Good. Chris Rock's here is an hour and 9 minutes. The Amy Schumer one I think was only 50 minutes. So they're just one special. You watch it, one and done. If you like it, there's others you can watch. If you don't like it, you just turn it off. I had fun with all three of them.
Right.
Now, if I had to pick one, if you could only watch one and there was a gun to my head and I had to pick one, I would, because they're all funny. I had a good time with all of them. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Wanda Sykes.
I was going to say,
she's
of the
hilarious.
3 anticipated, I would want to see that one first. Then Chris Rock. And Chris Rock, more for the interesting part about
him talking about Will Smith.
I'd like to see that before it gets taken down.
I would recommend watching that before it gets taken down.
And then Amy Schumer. I don't know. I haven't seen Amy Schumer do.
Okay. Wanda Sykes' new one called I'm an Entertainer has 100% fresh critic rating, only a 60% audience score. I don't agree with that.
Because humor is subjective. Like, we're seeing bad scores for all of these, but I think it's because humor is subjective. But I find her really funny.
I find her really funny too. However, all three of them are really funny. I'm not trying to crap on any of them. Yeah, I would start with that one, and Chris Rock, and go with Amy Schumer if you like her kind of humor.
Right.
Great stuff. I just wanted to mention that if you've seen any of these comedy specials, or if you've seen some of the other ones on Netflix, that maybe some names I don't know, let us know if you've seen any good ones, or if there's any bad ones. Let us know so I don't have to watch those ones.
I have such a admiration for people that do stand up like that and can be so funny like that. Me, I can't think of a comeback. I might think of it the next day after someone says something to me.
I'm not that funny.
The next day at 8 p.m., like, oh, I should have said that.
Do you think I could do stand-up?
Oh.
I think I would be hilarious at stand-up.
I could talk about my family. People might think that was funny, but my family wouldn't.
And now it's time for our famous segment of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Goodness. Now, you watched this last night. You asked me if I wanted to watch it with you.
Yeah.
I was
and
really
you laughed.
tired.
And you laughed at me. That's how much Christine wants to watch these things.
I'll only watch the good ones.
So,
you have to watch. You have to be my guinea pig.
Have you watched
first.
any of the ones I've suggested so far?
I put on one for our daughter, the one with the aliens when they took over Chakotay and made him in a coma. But I didn't actually watch it. I had to go do things, and she watched it.
Okay, season 2, episode 6 is called Twisted. This one was alright.
Okay.
This one was alright. It starts off with your favorite character, Cass.
Oh,
So,
goodness.
Birthday girl Cass is
Oh.
walking down the corridor. Where's she going? She walks into a room. It's the holodeck, of course.
Right.
So she's in the French bar that they love going to. But it's dark and creepy. Is something going wrong on the holodeck? No, it's a surprise birthday party. Yay! Most of the characters are there.
For her, it means just she's getting closer to death, for God's sake.
So she's turned 2.
Don't they only live like 7 years?
Yeah, something like that. So she's turned 2. Okay, and we already saw in another episode she went through her heat reproductive cycle. That was gross.
God.
Okay, so they're hanging out in the holodeck. They're having fun. And then it cuts to the bridge. Who's in charge? The most boring guy around, Tuvok.
Oh.
And he is incredibly wooden and boring in this
I
episode.
think Harry Kim is way more boring.
And he's there on the bridge too.
Oh, great.
So Tuvok's just sitting there being boring, not saying anything. And Harry Kim's like, "Sir, I got this done. I got all these things recalibrated." He's trying to be a brown noser.
Yes, because he is.
And then Tuvok's giving him shit. He's like, "Hey, I know why you're doing all this stuff. It's because you want to go to the party on the holodeck." And he's like, Kim's, yeah. Okay. Tuvok, what does Tuvok say? "Well, Ensign, you still got another 34 minutes left on your shift. So you better stay put." So he's just being a dick. Then he says, "However, I think in the last 34 minutes, the holodeck emitters could use an inspection."
Oh.
So
So
here's
he's
the-
being cool, Tuvok.
So he runs. So Harry starts running off, and then suddenly Tuvok's like, "Halt!" They halt the ship. He's not yelling at Harry Kim.
Oh, I thought he was saying,
Okay?
halt!
So they have to halt the ship. Okay? And Harry Kim has to
Everyone
stop too.
like falls forward.
They've come across like some green
Nebula.
energy distortion wave. It's like a green blob in space. So he
God,
stops.
why did
Okay,
you
don't
say
get any closer to it. So that's the right
that was
move, right?
smart.
Yeah,
Finally.
exactly. So they're like, "Okay, Kim, get back to your station." Oh, I want to get
but then
drunk.
everyone had to. The party was over, I suppose. Well, Kess doesn't
So
really do
what does
much.
he do? He's like, "Okay, we don't know what's going on. Notify." So he calls the captain. So they're talking to the captain, and suddenly the communications goes out. Darn.
Oh,
so they
'cause
can't
the green
communicate.
energies.
Okay. Oh, so he's like, "Okay, Kim, reverse all thrusters, full back." Nope, can't do that. Energy wave has disrupted their thing.
Paralyze them.
So he's like, "Ah, crap," and he can't get a hold of the captain. So what does he do? He's like, "Okay, shields up, okay, and
Right.
we're gonna fly through it." Okay.
Oh.
I think
Why
they
don't
do
you
that
just back
later.
Out?
So because he can't get in touch with the captain, he's like, "Kim, you're a runner. Go
Right,
down,
he
find the
has
captain,
go
get her
down.
to the
So
bridge."
he gets to go to the party.
So he leaves, goes back to the party, and so they've got this communication, and they're like, "Okay, what's going on?" So B'Elanna's taking apart the holodeck, trying to get the communications to work.
Right.
She can't get it to work. She don't know what she's doing, right? We've seen that
So know
before.
the science.
So they're all like, "Okay, we're dividing up into teams. You're going to engineering. We're going to the bridge. Neelix and Kes, piss off. Because they're useless."
Good.
So Neelix goes to take Kes back to her quarters, right?
Right. For some
Because
cake.
apparently they don't live together.
So
I thought they were
weird.
supposed to be
I
this
know.
romantic couple.
It's just weird with those characters.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So B'Elanna can't get to engineering. And Harry Kim, on his way to the holodeck, runs into some security officer. Let's call him Ensign Nicky.
He's gonna get killed.
I don't know what his name is. I'm just calling him Ensign Nicky, right? So he makes a few appearances.
Oh.
So Harry Kim can't get to the holodeck at first. B'Elanna can't
Is
get to
lost?
engineering.
Are they lost or they just can't get
Janeway?
through the doors?
Okay? Janeway with her big hair still.
Yes.
Plus main man Chakotay.
Okay.
Plus pretty boy
Tom Paris.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Tom Paris gives Kes a very nice locket for her birthday, which is a little inappropriate. And Neelix almost throws a hissy fit, but he stops himself, and he's like all congratulating himself.
I think he should.
But it's a little inappropriate on Paris's thing, and I think and we've seen this before, I think they're saying it up, they're going to fight over her. Because, Paris can't keep it in his pants. He's hitting on all the ladies on the ship.
Fabulous.
I guess.
With all her sweating.
Maybe he likes blondes. We do see her sweating and gross a lot in this show.
Blonde. Anyway.
So that happened earlier. But now they can't get anywhere, so the three of them, Janeway, Chakotay, and Paris, are in the turbo lift.
Right.
And it keeps stopping.
Can they not, walk? Use the ladders?
No. They keep trying to get to the bridge, but it keeps taking them to different floors. They're like, what's going on here? And no one can get where they're going. So what's going on here, right?
You gotta use the Jeffries.
And a lot of times they keep ending up back at the holodeck.
Oh.
So apparently the holodeck is not affected by this.
Maybe it is all holodeck.
So Tuvok, he's like, okay, if we can't go back, the only logical explanation is we have to go through it, and right. I want it to be as short as possible. Raise the shields, warp 4, let's go. Nope.
Warp 4, that's not very fast.
Doesn't matter, he just wants to fly through it.
Okay.
Like, let's get through this crap, right?
Okay.
I'm done with this, but he can't do that. So all the crew members are wandering around, they can't get where they're going, so they're like in a fun house, I guess.
Right.
And you know what happens? Tuvok leaves the bridge, and then he's lost with them too. And at one point, Chakotay gets stuck with Neelix at one point.
Oh, God.
Okay? Janeway assigns him. And she turns to him, is that all right, Commander? And he's like, oh. He doesn't even say anything, but you can tell he's like, not this guy.
The
God
people
damn
are
it.
irritated by them on this
ship. So sick of them.
So irritated.
Right? So, but then at one point, the two of them, Chakotay and Neelix, run into Tuvok because Tuvok left the bridge. Idiot. That's a dumb thing to do. Because none of them can get to the bridge.
Nobody's on the bridge now.
But then Neelix walks off, and then he's lost.
Why are they... Is it foggy on the ship? Like, where are they getting lost?
At one point, Tuvok and Chakotay are arguing because they're still together about which way to go.
Right.
And Chakotay keeps giving them shit this whole episode. He's like, listen, stop countermanding and questioning my orders. Because Janeway gets injured, okay, at one point.
Right.
She's crawling through the Jeffrey tubes with Kim.
She did crawl in the Jeffrey tubes.
Yeah, with Kim. And they run into this energy distortion in the ship, and her hand gets sucked into it. Oh. And it's all weird and stretched out and everything. Oh. And then it goes back, and she's back in the holodeck, and she's talking like gibberish.
A transporter.
So she's gone crazy.
Oh.
So Chakotay takes charge. Tuvok keeps disagreeing with his orders and saying we should do this, this, and this. Chakotay gets mad at him, gives him shit. He's like, listen, she's out of commission for right now. I'm in charge. You do what I tell you to do, and don't give me a hard time. You know?
Right.
And Tuvok's just,
you must have liked that. Your Chakotay there, putting the gears to Tuvok.
Tuvok's just so boring. He just stands there.
He's so Vulcan. Mr. Spock was never boring, though.
Anyway, so they keep trying to do all these things, and what they discover is this energy distortion is twisting and warping the ship.
Obviously.
Weird. And so that...
Different dimensions are involved or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So that means that every time they go down a corridor, the ship itself shifts and they end up going somewhere else and they can't get anywhere. Which makes no bloody sense.
Split in two or anything.
Exactly. It makes no bloody sense. And it's the holodeck on deck 6, because apparently it's in the middle of the ship, that's not really affected until the end. And they keep trying all these different things. The Doctor makes a funny appearance because he's in the holodeck, and the French barmaid is constantly hitting on him.
Oh.
Okay? And just wants him to make sweet love to her. I'm like, wow, this is a horny French blonde woman there. Okay? Sure. I don't know.
Weird.
Anyway, so he's pissed off the whole time about this.
Right.
Eventually what happens is they keep trying to do all these different things and they keep failing. So eventually what happens is they're like, okay, Tuvok says, okay, we'll just do nothing, because that makes logical sense.
Right.
So then they're all sitting there, the ones that are left, because Neelix is lost already, and we haven't seen him, so screw him. and they're all just sitting there waiting for this cloud energy distortion
To dissipate?
and we could die.
Right.
And they just start freaking out, right? And eventually it engulfs them all and the whole ship and everything's fine.
Oh, so Tuvok was right, and Chakotay should have listened to him, because he's smart. But still, they don't have a science person.
Anyway, it was okay. It was an alright episode there, but, you know, and then they find Neelix at the end, he's fine. I'm like, yay. But it was funny watching Chakotay. He's like, God damn it, I gotta deal with this guy. Because who would want to deal with Neelix?
I know. So they not realize. I know, and it's nothing against the actor. He's really funny.
No, Ethan Phillips. He's a nice guy.
They made an irritating character.
Okay, and that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Now it's time to go back into the DCEU. For Part 9, we're back after a couple of weeks. We watched Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
We did. Before I
went on vacation. And now we have watched Wonder Woman 1984. I got my 4K copy right here. Had a great time. I'm going to let you go first on this one, dear. What are your thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984?
Well,
I look it up.
I watched it again. I didn't think it was as bad as I had remembered it. But there's many flaws in it.
You enjoyed it more on the second viewing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. It currently has a 58% rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. However, that means 58% of the critics said something nice about it. They didn't say it was great, but that they liked it more than they did. 73% of the audience enjoyed it. So that's 2/3.
I think it wasn't trying to pull off as much as it did in the first one, and that was a really big problem with the first one.
Talking about the origin story?
No, not the origin. The origin was the only good thing about the first one. The whole First World War story part of it was just ridiculous. In that first one, it was so small and tiny. That was what was so ridiculous about it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, at least, it was biting off
a
proper amount. Yes,
okay.
But I think if they would have tweaked it just a little bit more, it could have been a lot better. And that was the problem. The whole thing with Kristen Wiig is mainly the problem with this movie. Of course, we have Gal Gadot, who can't really act as Wonder Woman. Of course, that's always a problem.
You just don't like her.
No, I don't. But the Kristen Wiig thing was just stupid.
Okay.
And it wasn't done right.
Let's try and be positive.
I am being, I'm telling you, I liked it better on the second viewing. I'm talking about it. And they got the 80s wrong, which was really foolish because a lot of us have been through the 80s and they got the year wrong. I mean, I was like 10 in 84 and I could tell, like, they got it wrong. They got it mixed in with the 90s and stuff. So I don't know what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was a proper amount to chew off. It made sense that she found this thing in the museum and she's, and she wished for Steve Trevor to come back. That's all good. But I think they just dropped some things. Like they dropped Steve Trevor real fast, like a hot potato. And then the ending was so sappy. And the whole thing with Kristen Wiig, that she didn't have confidence to wear high heels, it made no sense. She was dressed like girls when I was in high school, so the year was wrong. But she wasn't like a nerd or something. And she's supposed to be this person that's supposed to be studying archaeology. And she says to Diana, "You know Latin?" Like, that is just lame. Like, everybody there would know Latin, plus another whole bunch of language. It's just, the thing about Kristen Wiig ruins the movie. And then they turn in some weird kind of cheetah woman. That is just ridiculous. So if they would have just cut that out, it would have been a lot better film. And that was unfortunate. Whatever they were trying to do there was just sideways. But, anyway, I think they could have just fixed it up and it would have been a lot better movie. Personally.
What did you enjoy about it?
Well, the story did make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sad. It shows how Diana is so sad and stuff. But, I don't know. I don't know. They just didn't do it the greatest. But, it was a much better story and a much better something that you could chew off easily and deal with, right? Just this one crazy guy.
Okay. So I found this to be a fun, wacky comic book superhero movie. Kind of ridiculous, but I expected that to be for kids. Anyway, is that all your thoughts on it, or did you want to say?
I just think it was too bad. It was another not hitting the mark from DC.
So it was a bit off.
Yeah, a bit off.
Okay, my overall impression of this film is this was a bad movie, but I had fun with it. Just like a lot of other DC movies. I'm like, this isn't good,
like, here's the
but I'm
market,
having fun.
Missing it.
So here's what I enjoyed, as opposed to Christine talking about what she doesn't enjoy. So Kristen Wiig is not given a lot to do in this. She looks amazing in this, and she's given it her all with the very limited stuff she's given. She's acting the hell out of it. Poor writing for her.
Yeah,
and
that's really what knocked the movie down.
I love her, and she does as good a job as she can do. Okay, so no fault to her at all. Gal Gadot, she embodies Wonder Woman. Okay, the costume is very bright. It looks brighter than it definitely did back in BVS. And
gold in one of them.
She wears the golden armor
because her butt isn't sticking out.
So we get the golden armor, and finally she gets sort of pants. I think it's like tights and long boots.
Yeah.
But she's not walking around that skimpy skirt there. So Wonder Woman finally got pants. That's cool, and it was a nice shiny gold outfit. Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, he is great. He is such a way over the top, wacky, cartoonish supervillain, and you can tell he's having a great time. He's chewing all the scenery on set. And I get swept up watching him because he's having such a fun time, and I start having a fun time. I love it. Yeah, I didn't really.
They should have edited the part where he's talking to the world. They should have cut out half of that. It was just so much, back and forth. It was just.
Anyway, let me continue with my review, please. So, I loved all that stuff. What really makes this movie for me is Chris Pine. Now, it was weird him coming back, and I don't know anything about movie making, and I'm nobody on the internet, but my advice would have been, if she wishes for him to come back, don't have him come back as some other dude's body, right?
It was weird.
That's weird because, she's sleeping with him. So good on this random dude in the 80s who looks like Bill Paxton and dresses like a pirate. He gets to sleep with Wonder Woman, so good on him, buddy. And Chris Pine is back in this, and he's acting as if he's your great-grandfather who's just come back from 1918. That's when he died, and now he's in 1984, in the futuristic world of 1984. And I love that because to us, 1984 is in the past. We're like, things weren't that great. There was no internet. There was no cell phones, smartphones, nothing.
84 was great. 85 was prime.
But to him, this is science fiction world that he's living in. And he freaks out over the breakdancing, all the art sculptures, the trash can, and going down the escalator.
Yes.
That's exactly how someone from 1918 would act, I think. Going on an escalator. Oh my god, he's freaking out at first. And then he's loving it and he's walking up and down the escalator. And meanwhile, we're just like, buddy, what's he doing? Like, this is a normal thing we've had for decades. I love his performance.
I like that too. He would never be able to fly an F-16 or whatever
it was. The fashion montage and the fanny packs with all his outfits. He has more than one fanny pack. That was hilarious.
Fanny pack. Nobody can. I mean...
I would argue no one can except Chris Pine.
I don't think he doesn't pull it off.
He is such a beautiful person that he can pull it off.
You have to wear it across the chest. That's better.
Still a fanny pack, and good on Chris Pine for pulling off those looks there. So good on him. Some of the stuff in it was a bit over the top, like the random drunken guys that are just being jerks to women.
Did you find they just dropped Chris Pine like that, like a stone? It wasn't like a proper lead up or whatever. She just left him behind in some building.
Yeah, she had to give up.
Yeah, but
she had to renounce her wish.
I don't know. It was strange the way that they handled it.
The CGI fight with Cheetah, not very good.
I didn't like the look of Cheetah.
Yeah, I think they could. And it was too dark as always. Yeah. However, I do like that they did Cheetah, and I like that they did Maxwell Lord, and
he was much more believable though.
So I had a fun time with this bad movie, and not one of my favorite DCEU movies. Afterwards we're gonna talk about where we'll put it in our ranking. I gotta think about that one. What rating would you give this movie?
I liked it better than the first one. I don't know. I might give it like a 70.
A 70?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it a 70.
Even though it was a bad movie, like other DC movies, I'm gonna give this a best movie ever because I had fun with it.
I think they could have just fixed a couple of things and it would have been really good.
Yeah, maybe another pass at the script and everything.
Just like off a bit.
It did make a lot of money because it was released in December of 2020. So that was still very much the pandemic going on. And it was released day and date on HBO Max. But also theaters weren't really open in December of 2020.
I think ours was.
So, yeah, that was bad circumstance. I think it would have done all right if it had been open in the theaters, considering the success of the first one.
I guess.
So
I don't know how much money they put into it because like their 80s was wrong.
I enjoyed their 80s.
Well, you were around as a teenager or I was like 10, but I certainly remember it. Like Stranger Things in the 80s a lot better. They're just things that were off.
According to bombreport.com,
yeah,
it had a $200 million budget. That's a lot of money for this movie.
It's a lot, and they couldn't get 1984 right. The mall itself looked right, but the clothes were a bit off and stuff.
I realize anytime they do period pieces, it always can be a little bit off, but the 80s world they created, it was fun, it was bright and colorful and very clean for some reason.
It wasn't really on the mark, though.
For you, it wasn't on the mark.
I was alive, not 2 years old.
For you, it wasn't on the mark, but for me, it's just like watching the Goldbergs. It's kind of an idealized 80s. It's not exactly exact in terms of what was out at the time. Things might be a little bit off, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I like that look. You didn't enjoy it so much, so I gave it a best movie ever. Now, what does everyone else think of Wonder Woman 1984? You gave it a 70%, so I'm guessing this might be somewhere in the middle of your DCEU rankings.
Rank them all because they keep on just missing the mark. Like Harley Quinn missed the mark. You know? I don't know. Did I like?
Did you enjoy this one more than Birds of Prey?
I think I enjoyed Birds of Prey more.
Okay. You know you had some problems with it, with the sexism and that. But anyway, I had fun with this. I'm glad you had some fun with it. And then we're gonna
sexism in this one as much. I didn't mind.
Next week we're gonna move on to part 10 of Into the DCEU.
Okay.
What movie came out? Give you a hint. It's the only DCEU movie that came out in 2021. So the pandemic was still very much going on. Problems with theaters. What movie do you think came out next after this one?
We're gonna have one left. James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
That is the next one. And spoilers, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
we got that. We got James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Then we got Peacemaker we're gonna watch.
Yeah, I never saw Peacemaker.
Then Black Adam.
Right, which we recently saw.
Then Shazam 2.
Yeah, which we just
and
saw.
Now The Flash, that's out this weekend. So we got 5 more properties to go.
Are we gonna go see The Flash today?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
So let us know your thoughts on Wonder Woman 84. Do you think it was good? Do you think it would have made a lot of money at the box office? Are you a big fan of Wonder Woman or not? Let us know down in the comments below. And that's part 9 of Into the DCEU. Now it's time for another segment of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Okay, what episode are we on now?
Season 2, Episode 7.
We're getting into Season 2.
Perturtion.
They have the weirdest titles.
Yeah, it's like part and then nutrition without the N. Perturtion.
Okay, what
is that a real word? I have no idea.
Not the way you're saying it.
So this episode focuses on 2 characters. Would you like to guess?
Taurus?
Nope, it's not a B'Elanna episode.
Not much about her.
Okay, it's a Tom Paris teams up with Neelix.
Oh my They're way too much on
What's-
Neelix.
Why is
and
Neelix
Cass
involved
these-
in so much in this
I
show?
know, like that's why the other episode, like later on, it got better because he wasn't in it as much. Why did they think they should have episodes about him so much? I just don't know what they were thinking.
So Tom Paris and Neelix are fighting over Cass.
Oh my god, so Cass was in it too.
Oh yeah,
But isn't Neelix and Cass, like, aren't they supposed to be
they're in
together?
love. They're in love. They
Until
were gonna
someone new comes
they were
along.
gonna have a kid at one point, but that didn't work out.
Did she have kids? Maybe they just lay an egg or something.
So apparently, this episode starts with Cass and Tom Paris in a shuttle,
Oh.
and
Together. in
things
a
aren't
shuttle.
going well. They're gonna crash or something.
Oh.
Anyway, they're
Why
just
is she in a shuttle? She's just like she has like no skills.
yeah, exactly. Why would they bring her in there? Because she's in the holodeck and it's simulator. She's training to learn
she's
to use a
training.
shuttle.
They're gonna teach her how to drive a shuttle now. So she wasn't good at gardening. She wasn't good at medical.
No, she's still
Now
doing the
she's gonna
gardening.
be a shuttle pilot? I mean, oh my god.
Apparently she still helps out the doctor all the time. She's still the nurse. And she still grows all those vegetables as far as we know.
Skilled at age 2.
She's just got all the skills. And she's only 2 years old. So he was assigned to teach her how to use the shuttle.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And so they have to do all these simulations. Just
I don't
like
remember episodes with Cass driving a shuttle anywhere.
essentially all the crew have to
Yeah.
meet Starfleet requirements. So they all have to know how to do the
Right.
basics on the ship.
Why is he teaching Neelix then?
Apparently he's not very good at it, and he's busy being a chef. Because he has to cook all day, every day, to feed the crew. That's his job. You constantly see him in the kitchen.
What a one big pot.
I mean, even in this episode, Neelix gets upset, and so it looks like they're just eating pasta.
Yeah.
And so Neelix starts a fight in the mess hall
Right.
by throwing pasta at Tom Paris. He throws it back at Neelix.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting. And all the Starfleet officers are like, yeah. But they have to, so everyone's just like, sure, it's high school again, right?
God almighty.
Fight.
Right.
And the reason they were fighting was Tom Paris is trying to stay away from Cass. Because he has feelings for her. And who does he tell about this?
I don't know.
His best buddy, Harry Kim,
Right.
who he interrupts playing his clarinet
I
for the
thought
first time we hear it. I'm like, oh god.
So fortunate.
And then he
interrupted it.
Then Tom Paris makes Harry play the clarinet for him.
Oh god.
Just weird.
I thought they were into those sisters or something. Anyway.
So Tom Paris has been working too much with Cass. Now he's got an infatuation for her. Okay, he's got a crush on her, sure. So he's trying to avoid her.
Right.
So he doesn't sit with her in the mess hall. And then Neelix takes this the wrong way and starts a fight with him.
Okay.
And that's how the food got thrown.
Okay.
And it's not the other Starfleet officers that break up the fight.
No.
They're just like, whatever. We're bored out here in space.
Right.
So who breaks it up? They get a call on the comm badge from the captain.
Oh yeah. You're throwing
So-
that food away. It's wasteful.
So the first thing I noticed about Janeway this episode,
Yeah.
she's got a new haircut.
Oh my gosh, her hair is always changing.
Well, it's been
Did it look better? Was it more? I like her with the bob. I think that looked better.
Well, as I'm watching it, what I'm thinking is, like, how would be the best way for me to describe her hair
what kind of
in
hair
this
to give her.
episode? And at first I thought it looks like
See, most of the pictures you're showing have her with the bob.
a high school librarian. Okay?
Wow.
That's what her hair looks like. It looks like a high school librarian.
Wow.
And then I
Our
realized
high school librarian was like an 88-year-old man.
it's like this.
Seemed like he
And
should have
then
retired 20 years
it's almost
before.
like this. I
a
think
bob.
that's
That's
okay.
called a bob.
No, I think no, it's more like this.
Anyway.
And then I realized no, this is dynasty hair. She's got dynasty hair. That's it there.
It's not dynasty
Okay?
hair.
So now we're on an episode of Dynasty, right?
It's not Dynasty.
We're gonna find out who shot JR. So
No.
here we go. So Dynasty hair Janeway interrupts their fight, and they have to report to her ready room. Okay, immediately,
Okay.
and they're like, does it have to be immediately? And she's like, get your ass here.
Right.
And so they show up. They have to stand at attention,
And they're full of food.
and they got food and pasta on them still. And she's, should I even ask?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Should I even ask?
So how do
She's
they,
like,
like-
I don't want to deal with this crap.
How do they settle this whole argument?
So she sends them on a mission together,
Oh,
even though
of
she
course.
knows they're fighting with each other.
Right.
She's like, I don't give a damn. Act like officers. Do your job. Get to work. And what is she doing? They have to go to this M-class planet
Yeah.
because they're running out of supplies. They're down to 30%.
They just threw all the food around in the lunchroom.
Yeah. Guess they're just having too many food fights in the mess hall, right?
Oh,
That's the
it's
problem.
really
So they
wasteful.
haven't come across any M-class planets lately, so they haven't been able
Oh.
to trade or get any.
No,
supplies.
Is a void.
So there's only this one, and they got all their sensors, which never seem to work, right?
Yeah, none of
Are
their
saying
really
there's
works
lots of
right.
amino acids and proteins in the atmosphere. Okay, that's great. Problem is, there's all these like storms around it.
Right.
So and
Acids like algae or something.
and there's some kind of noxious gas
Oh.
on the surface
Oh.
in parts.
Okay.
So what are we gonna do? We're sending Paris and Neelix. Get down to that planet.
Scoop up some algae off the rocks or something.
So, and even there was a joke because Chakotay makes a 5-minute appearance
Oh.
to deliver the news to Janeway about this planet, and stellar cartography, which maps out everything, have already nicknamed it Planet Hell. So she's like, set a course for Planet Hell
Why not?
because it's a miserable
Is there
planet,
some kind
right?
of weird algae they can scrape off the rocks to eat or what?
Not really.
Oh.
It's but I'll get to it, okay? This one's a mystery, I guess.
No.
So she sends them down. He has to take the show because he's the best pilot, and Neelix is the cook, so he'll know what's edible. Yes.
Sure.
He never seems to know anything. Okay, so they're heading down, and they end up
They
crashing.
had a tricorder.
They
that
crash.
worked. Oh, okay.
They crash. Some alien
Paris is-
ship shows up out of nowhere and starts shooting at Voyager. I'm like, what's going on? Where'd that
Yeah.
ship come from? The shuttle goes down. They're outside. Okay, they survive miraculously.
Right.
They don't have a scratch on them, right? And so they survive, and they can't be outside in this noxious gas that's on the planet,
No.
even though it doesn't look like there's anything growing on the planet.
Right.
It looks like a hellish landscape, and it's
Right.
dark and clouds. So they have to run into a cave and seal off the cave so that the gas doesn't get in because they're breaking out in hives. Neelix won't stop complaining about it.
But there wouldn't be breathable
Also,
air
the
in
whole
cave.
time, Neelix is giving Paris shit.
Oh.
He's like, I don't want to be here, but I have to follow your orders. And he's just not giving an inch, right? He's just giving him shit the whole time, right? Even though
Right.
Paris is like, come on, we got to get through this. Let's just be reasonable, okay? And not fight right now. And he's
Yeah.
like, sir, I just have to follow your orders. That's why I'm here.
So
Okay.
what's in the cave? Something to eat?
So, what do they find? What's in the cave? First, there's nothing. They have to heat up some rocks to stay warm. Then their tricorders say that there is life forms.
Those tricorders just don't work.
First, it didn't work. Neelix gives them shit on that. He's like, I did check it. It said there was nothing, but now there's something, right?
Yeah.
So what do they find? Eggs. They find like giant ostrich eggs. First thing I think is, get out of there.
Yeah, because
Okay.
this is a cave. Well, you never run into a cave.
This was
unless you know
95.
something's
Didn't
in it.
these guys see any of the Jurassic Park movies? Get out of there. Jeez. So they don't do that. Instead, they investigate. And what happens?
Their tricorder should tell them if there's life signs.
Okay. The egg starts to crack. Then I'm like, get out, get out. I saw that movie Alien.
Right.
Guys,
Does
run,
it
run.
imprint upon them?
Yeah,
Think
there's
it's
going to
their
be like some
mother?
hand thing that attaches to their face and puts an alien in them.
Yes.
Anyway, no, that doesn't happen. Instead, it hatches and there's this little lizard goblin there. Like, that thing is terrifying. It's
They gotta
disgusting.
eat it or take it home as a dog.
Maybe they should have ate it. I don't know. Anyway, so it's a life form, and Neelix is like, okay, now we gotta look after it. Paris is like, we gotta get out of here. We shouldn't have been.
Its mother.
Paris is like, we shouldn't have been in here in the first place. Neelix is like, nope, we have to look after it.
But it has a mother, or it's meant to not have a mother. I mean, if it's just a set of eggs.
And they're arguing about it, that maybe the mother can't get back because they sealed the entrance to the cave.
Well, they're gonna have to get out.
In the end, so the ship that was stopping Voyager,
Yes.
I think, was protecting the planet for some reason because of the eggs there.
The 6 eggs in a cave.
And they decide they have to wait. They're going to be able to get beamed up. So Voyager deals with the ships, and then we're going in. There's a window we can beam them out.
Yeah.
It lasts like 5 minutes. There's a time limit on it, of course. So they can get out. But Neelix has to make sure the baby gets accepted by the mother.
Right. Where's the mother at this
So this
time?
mother shows up.
Right.
It's like the most...
Just leave the baby in the
It's like the most hideous, terrifying lizard creature you've ever seen. Okay? And on a pretty small budget, this thing looks terrible, right?
If you touch a baby animal, it's never good because then their scent is on it and the mother will ignore it most of the time.
Yeah. Well, they had to get the baby goblin outside because it has to breathe in the all the proteins and amino acids in those noxious vapors, which gives them a bad allergic reaction. They break out in hives and they're really itchy. So
okay,
it was a bit.
Seems like a lame episode. So
they wait for this terrifying alien to show up, pick up her baby. Okay, maybe don't leave your baby behind there, right? And then they beam out, and then they just go, and they're like, forget that alien ship. We don't need to deal with this crap.
Well, most lizards don't
lay
eggs and leave.
So anyway. I don't think they got any supplies there. Because I don't think they were beaming up any of that atmosphere, all those proteins in the atmosphere.
That doesn't make much sense.
That's why the little goblin had to breathe it in.
Right.
That's how they...
He's in a cave. Okay. It made no sense by the sounds of it.
And that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Got a couple of comments we'll share briefly here.
Okay.
So just got a comment last night from Nikita Mohan, who commented on my spoiler-free reaction video that I posted for No Hard Feelings that we saw yesterday.
Oh, okay.
She said, seems like you are in the minority about it not really being funny or good enough. Yeah, I think I'm in the minority because so far on Rotten Tomatoes it shows that the audience who have left a review are saying that they like it, except for that one critic didn't like it.
I just think it's just a bit...
And anyway,
it's a bit wrong.
If you enjoy it, Nikita, great. I don't want to take that away from you. I realize I'm in the minority. It just didn't work for me. But if everyone else enjoys it and it makes a lot of money, great. Thanks for the comment, though, Nikita. Last comment I got from Odish43. This was on our Star Trek Voyager segment there. So people are enjoying this. Odish4352 said this episode actually had potential. Either as, this is about the Harry Kim one that I told you wasn't good, where it's all Harry Kim all the time. Either as a permanent shakeup, Harry doesn't go home, or a bit of character development. Harry goes back, but he at least has difficulty with the decision. He didn't at all. Preferably the former. If they weren't going to even stick a hollow pip on his collar, then why not arrange an interesting exit? And you know what, Odish? You're absolutely right. They should have written him out here.
That's what I thought.
And just swapped him out for a new character.
That's exactly what I thought when you said that. Like, this is their opportunity to get rid of such a dud.
Yeah, and get a better character.
Like, Kess is a dud. Neelix is just background. It's just they have like so many dud characters. They need some more interesting things. And that's when they come up with the most interesting character.
He also says at the bottom, cute kitty. And you know what? Yeah. Fluffy Kitty appreciates the compliments, and she's always adorable.
Right. See, they need 7 of 9.
So thank you for the comment and for the compliment of Fluffy Kitty there, Odish. So appreciate those comments, and we'll keep them coming. Always good to hear from some people. Take care.